So, I showed you guys when I got out of prison what I came to get where I am today. And Stacy's going to do a video showing the house we live in, the cars and all that. That way, you guys can see where I'm at now. What a lot of people have been asking is what I went to prison for, and why did I get so much time, and how did I get out so early? So I'm going to give you we're going to do this. Stacy's been wanting to do this for a long time because my life reads like science fiction. You guys will not even believe some of the shit that I've done, that I've pulled off, that I should be dead, should be in prison for the rest of my life. There's a lot of things that that I've done in my life, some that I'm proud of, some that I'm not so proud of. But you guys keep acting like, or keep saying that you're interested in seeing what I'm about and where I came from. So I'm going to give you this what got me started on the side of being illegal in 1979. This is a very emotional thing for me. In 1979, my dad got hit on his motorcycle and was paralyzed from the chest down. Now, my dad was a man's man. He worked 3 jobs. My dad did. We always had a nice house. We had clean clothes. We may not have the fanciest clothes, but my dad took care of his family. And he was a badass. You didn't cross my dad. You didn't talk shit to my dad. I had become just like my dad. And that's how we were raised. He always raised us boys. The 2 things, you boys, the only thing you'll ever have in life is each other. Don't trust a wife. Don't trust anything else. You boys are blood. Blood is always thicker than water. And the other thing he always pounded into our heads, keep your word good. Because if you don't have nothing in this world and you got your word, then you got something. So that's why I don't lie. That's why I keep my word no matter what. But in 1979, I worshiped the ground my dad walked on. I was in the shop with him from the time I could walk. And my dad painted cars. He worked full-time at a dealership. He did sheetrock, had his own drywall company there for a while. He painted cars. I mean, my dad worked 14, 18 hours a day to provide for his family. And we worked every day, and all us boys worked. But I was the one that was always out in the shop with my dad every day. So my dad was my idol. And in 1979, we were going to go. He had a Volkswagen Beetle on a 57 Chevy frame with a small block in it. We were going to go to a salvage yard and get the sheet metal to do the floor. Well, my mom's car wouldn't start, so he takes her for a ride. He's on his motorcycle. He's going to take her to work. She was a manager at Walmart. And my dad got hit head on in his lane and paralyzed from the chest down. The bad part about that was I was 10 years old and I stood in the driveway and said, I wish you would die. That was a very, very, very hard thing for me. So I carried that for the next 30 years. My dad did not even know that. So I felt that it was my duty, it was my obligation to do whatever my dad needed for the rest of my life. So when my dad got out of the hospital and he was paralyzed from the chest down, he's a man's man to the point that they wanted him to order a wheelchair and he wouldn't do it. He said, I'm walking out of here. And my dad did. He went down to the gym. He worked out every day. He had a 44-inch chest. He had 21-inch arms when he came out of there. He walked out of that hospital on a pair of crutches and walked on crutches for the rest of his life till he passed. So when times got tough, my dad turned to dealing pot because he couldn't work anymore. Social Security paid him $463 a month because he'd always worked construction and all these other jobs and worked for himself and did side jobs and all that. The amount of money he paid, his Social Security benefits, that's all it was. So my dad went to selling pot. And that started me down another path because I was going to do whatever it took to help my dad provide for my family. So that's what got this started. Now, I'll tell you guys some of the stories. Stacy wants to break this into short little stories. There's what got me started on that course. My dad was not a bad man. He did what he needed to do to provide for his family. And then it got out of hand. And it got out of hand on my part, and it got out of hand on his part. Because once you start into that game and you're playing that game, it just keeps escalating. I was 10 years old when that happened. When I was 14 years old is the first time I started doing things that most adults have never done. But that's the story we're going to tell right now. As long as you guys watch these, you're interested, you give positive feedback, and watch your mouth about my father. I'll keep doing them. I'll share my life story with everybody out there because it is a good story. I came from nothing. I did shit that I never should have done that I'm not proud of, but it made me the man I am today, and I'm a good man today. Thanks, guys. This is part 2.